made up of 3 people: Billy, myself, and Kim Kent is our third partner. We have offices here in Columbia and Greenville, and we have a pro-business governmental affairs shop and have been representing the CPA Association for almost 10 years now.
Well, there really isn't a typical day at the General Assembly. Things can change so dramatically over there, many times just depending on what's in the newspaper that morning. But having said that, what we do, we attend every session of the General Assembly, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from January to June. We follow everything that's going on over there, keeping an eye on things of interest to the association. We also attend committee and subcommittee meetings, work very closely with legislators in advancing our agenda. In order to do that, we work very closely with the executive director of the association and the staff. We work with the board of directors and also work very closely with the legislative committee. And I think it's important, in order for us to do our job, we communicate effectively with them, and during the legislative session, we're usually in contact with them on a weekly basis.
There were 2 main pieces of legislation that we worked on this year for the CPA Association. Of course, every year we have the annual conformity bill, as we call it. And over the years, the General Assembly has really grown to understand, through the efforts of the CPA Association, the need to get that done as early as possible in the year. It's always an adventure. There are other things going on over there. There's always a fiscal impact to the state, sometimes a little positive, sometimes a little negative, and the General Assembly has to work through that. Nonetheless, we were able to get that in, get it introduced, and was effective on March 27th of this year. We shoot for March 15th. In a perfect world, it's very difficult to pull off, but that's always our goal, at least internally. Then the other bill that we worked on was something that we really worked toward the last couple of years. Finally really got it moving this year, and that was some reforms to the LLR board and regulations over there. And with all the prep work, with the grassroots network back home, making contacts with the 2 main committees, the House LCI Committee and the Senate LCI Committee, there was great support early on, even on some technical issues. The chairman of those 2 committees, Representative Bill Sandifer and Senator Thomas Alexander, were immensely helpful in pulling that off. They enjoy a very healthy, very fond relationship with their local CPAs and the CPA Association. All that worked together to get that bill done, and that was signed into law and effective on June 3rd of this year.
Well, I think one of our biggest challenges is just the fact that so many other things are going on at the General Assembly. There's usually one issue or a dominant issue that kind of takes up a lot of the space over there. This year it was highway infrastructure funding. We read about it in the newspapers on a weekly basis. Then there's a state budget that has to be passed every single year and just requires an enormous amount of the legislators' time and attention to get that done. So that requires us, because our issues typically aren't in the newspapers, they're not something the editorial boards are writing about, it requires us to have a much more strategic and focused strategy for getting our items accomplished at the State House.
Working with the CPA Association is incredibly rewarding at the State House. It is wonderfully unique and at times to represent a group that has that level of respect at the General Assembly. And then think about it, every member of the General Assembly, for the most part, has an existing personal relationship with their CPA. So we can go to almost any legislator, they're going to know their local CPA. Oftentimes they've received a call from their local CPA about a particular piece of legislation. We'll reference that conversation, and as a lobbyist over there at the State House, that's an invaluable relationship that we're very fortunate to have.
And I think one of the things that has been incredibly successful and a great assistance to us has been the Key Contacts program, where we have a local legislator who has a personal relationship with a member of the General Assembly and can talk to them back home on the issues that are of importance to us. It is just so much easier to get things done when you have that local contact. And legislators like to hear from the folks back home, particularly when they know them from church or from PTA meetings, and there's that personal relationship. It makes it so much more effective in keeping our agenda items in front of them. The other thing I would mention is the Political Action Committee. That has been very successful over the years, and I would certainly encourage everyone to continue participating in that, as that's been a great help to the association in advancing our agenda as well.
Perhaps the best way to continue to improve the CPA efforts at the State House is to constantly look at the new members over there. It's another election cycle coming up next year. There will be new faces, could be a lot of new faces. So that means we need to diligently find relationships back home with the local CPA, make sure the CPA Association is aware of that relationship. In addition, there's current members over there at the General Assembly that we don't have a key contact with at this point. So we would encourage you all to look at who's there locally, see if you have a relationship. If not, seek out that relationship. That would be a great benefit to the association.
So what do you see the future of advocacy going for the CPA profession in South Carolina?
I'd say the future is bright. We have, as Jeff mentioned, a wonderful reputation over there. This profession is so highly regarded by the general public and by the General Assembly. That helps make things a lot easier. And we just look forward to moving forward in advancing the agenda and in working to keep legislators educated and informed on matters that are important to us.